FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Do you need treatment for obesity or any related abdominal procedures? The community hospital now offers minimally invasive laparoscopic surgery done by an American-trained, board-certified surgeon with over 20 years' experience. Give us a call at 235-5479 for more information.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
Advanced Solutions Technical Institute isn't just about courses, it's about creating futures. We serve every learner, from the new graduate to the seasoned professional, with engaging, supportive staff and tailored learning plans. Study in the way that works for you and gain skills in business, security, finance, telecoms, fiber optics, and beyond. ASTI, training tomorrow's leaders today.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you. In our latest episode, learn how Jameson CoQ10 can help support heart health, boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on WESN and start your wellness journey today.
SM Group International Limited, your solutions partner for the latest innovations, brands, and competent staff to meet your needs. We provide products and services in the following divisions: executive services, event rental and services, power and heavy equipment, construction and property management, food and beverage, aggregate and sales and distribution. Check out more on our products and services at www.smgrouptt.com. Contact us at 221-7445 or email at info@smgrouptt.com. We are SM Group International, your solutions partner.
I want to get a tattoo.
You really want
to me. Respond to me how you would respond to me.
The first question I'll ask is why.
Controversial taboo topics.
We get so consumed by church, we forget that we have to live the life of being a Christian.
outside of the Sunday
like you say,
services.
we think going to a service makes us a Christian.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So here we are about to hear the second time Pastor J wanted to take a tattoo.
Would have been late last year and early this year.
Oh gosh.
Hope Unfiltered podcast with Pastor J and Ren.
Money is something we all deal with, but how many of us truly understand it? What if you could make better decisions with your money? Decisions that secure your future, protect your family, and bring you peace of mind. I'm Darren Jacobs, and I'm here to help you make sense of your dollars. Welcome to Dollars and Cents, the show that breaks down the financial world in ways that matter to you. No jargon, no confusion, just real conversations about money, your money. So join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on WESN for Dollars and Cents.
WESN.
Good morning and welcome to AM Prime on WESN. I'm Naomi Macnish and Jada is joining me via Zoom this morning. So Jada, are you there?
Hey, yes, I'm right here. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Naomi. Good morning to the production team behind the cameras. Hope everybody's doing well.
Awesome. So this morning, school is starting soon, Monday. Yeah. So this morning we just want to have a quick discussion with Mr. Martin Lumpkin about the preparedness of schools to reopen on September 8th. This discussion remains it remains front and center at this point in time, from infrastructure upgrades and emergency repairs to the placement of special reserve police officers at high-risk schools. There are a number of issues facing both teachers and students as the new term begins. So Mr. Lumpkin is joining us via Zoom this morning. Good morning, Mr. Lumpkin.
Good morning, Ms. McLeod and Ms. McNish. Thank you for having us this morning. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Awesome. So, Mr. Lumpkin, to start, you said the union is looking forward to the new academic year. From teachers' perspective, how ready are teachers at this point to start the term?
All our educators are supposed to report for duty this morning and tomorrow. So the educators start there when it comes to the new academic year. They start on the Thursday and Friday before, and then on Monday next week, the students will come out to school. By and large, the majority of our educators are ready, up and rearing. They've had their vacation period and they are ready to start the new academic year. There are some who will continue to be on leave for whatever reason, but the majority are ready for the new academic year, ready to welcome the new students and welcome those who are continuing their education journey at their institution.
The ones who would continue to be on leave, are there things put in place to work around that?
By and large, we would have some measure in place, and that's one of the challenges we've had over the years, in that there has been shortage of staff and filling of vacancies We understand that the ministry is working with the Service Commission, Teaching Service Commission, to have these vacancies filled, to deal with promotions and transfers. But at some schools, there will be the shortage of staff, and that's throughout Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. So I'd want to shift the conversations a little bit of the infrastructure challenges that we constantly hear about, even from since I was in secondary school. But what do you think are the most urgent infrastructural, if any, challenges that TUTA is particularly highlighting right now?
There are one or two schools we are monitoring at this time. One in terms of the sewer system. We must extend congratulations to the Ministry of Education for the work they have put in during this vacation period. We understand the majority of schools are ready for reopening. There are some with some minor and some other challenges which we are monitoring, and we are working with the Ministry of Education to ensure that these schools. So previously you would have had instances of electrical upgrades in terms of sewer system, in terms of other infrastructural works that needed to be done, roof, etc., etc. Our feedback is that they are in an advanced state of repairs, and that there are some minors to be completed. But we are monitoring the situation, and we are working with the Ministry of Education to ensure that all schools have at least the opportunity to be reopened, and if not, that there are systems that will be put in place. I want to take the opportunity to say that it brings no joy to TUTA to have any school not reopen in the new academic year or during any term, because the denial of education is one that we do not encourage as much as possible. So if there are schools that cannot reopen, it brings no joy, but we have to pay attention to the health and safety of the occupants, the students, as well as our members.
If a school cannot reopen, because inevitably I could see a couple of schools that being the case, would those students who would attend those schools be maybe kind of broken up into different schools within the area? Is that how it would work? What are these steps that will be taken?
Well, in the first instance, if it is that there's a safe area within the school that occupants can utilize, then that will be the case. The OSH Act is very clear. If there are safe areas for occupation, then you occupy. So if it is that some of the students and the majority of our educators can report for duty and occupy some spaces, then that will be the case. In other instances where the staff agrees to relocate for a short period, then that will be utilized. But it cannot be every day or every Monday morning you want to move the school out of the compound for whatever reason. And there are reasons where it will allow, but then there are some reasons where the ministry is complacent, is not doing what it's supposed to. And we have to remind the education ministry as well as our members that is quite clear in the regulations that you are to report to the school you are assigned by the Teaching Service Commission. And if they have to be moved, it has to be with the blessings of the Teaching Service Commission. We will try to work with the Education Ministry as much as possible to ensure that the facilities that will that ensures proper teaching and learning is there. We've had instances where because, and we can remember, is Palmas Government Primary School that had to be split into two very distinct geographical areas. And in the first instance, the ministry didn't consult with the association. We had to intervene. But in cases where they have to be moved, we want to be consulted with the education ministry so that our members, their rights are preserved.
There were nearly 400 projects started in terms of infrastructure repairs and upgrades in the schools. From what you've seen so far, are teachers satisfied with the progress that has been made?
Thus far, the majority of our teachers are satisfied with the work. There will be some areas that needs to be improved, and you will have, whenever you do any sort of infrastructural work, you have to ensure that you sanitize after. Sometimes, because the extent of the work, the sanitation may not take place up until the last day. And we are confident that by Monday morning, you will have the majority of schools up and ready. Today, when our members report for duty, we will get a better sense of what is taking place. We've gotten, during the week, some feedback, and we have passed it on to the Education Ministry, and they have guaranteed us that they are looking at it. They say they're working 24 hours. So we give the benefit of the doubt to the Ministry of Education in this instance, but we will continue to monitor.
Yeah, there was a special mention of San Fernando Central. There was a huge project happening there, demolition of certain parts of the school. How is it looking now? Would it affect the start date on Monday in terms of teaching and students being able to start classes?
We will get a better update this morning when our members attend to the school, and the staff rep will reach out to us. There has been that concern over the vacation period. And we have reached out to the Honorable Minister, whose constituency is within the school area. And he has assured us that they are looking at it. When the blocks were demolished, that is within a year, it was the students' toilets, and they were provided with temporary toilets during the course of the year. It is the classrooms that were demolished that is a concern, in that there are not sufficient classrooms in the compound to facilitate those classes that were removed. So that we will have to see what takes place this morning. The staff rep has been liaising with us in terms of the concerns. And from this morning, we will get a better sense, and we will be able to report to the ministry and see what is the latest update.
Mr. Lumpkin, how are laptops looking? Because I know we wanted to give each student a laptop, I think, as they go into secondary school. Is that something that the government ministry consults with tutor on at all? Is that something that you would know a little bit about?
We get information. I cannot say at this time what is the status and when it will be distributed. The Honorable Minister did say to us the use of AI will be facilitated, and ethic use of AI and the proper usage of AI, both in terms of the students and the educators. Educators were trained somewhat during the last term in the use of AI and the potential of enhancing teaching learning. In terms of the students, that we haven't gotten a sense as yet. And the Honorable Minister did inform us that ebooks will be utilized within the laptops as well too. They have engaged in a provider and the license for it. So I'm not certain. Today is Thursday, school starts on Monday. I'm not certain they'll be prepared to distribute on the first day. It may be within, and safely say, the first academic term. I cannot say exactly. That's up to the Ministry of Education to reveal when it will distribute to all students in Trinidad and Tobago.
If these ebooks are being implemented, does that mean that there were, in terms of the book list, were parents still asked to purchase books for school, or were they asked to hold off on that until the ebooks are sorted?
The first thing the Ministry of Education did was to inform schools that they should not change the textbooks required. So every so often, I think it's like 2 to 3 years, there's a review on textbooks, and they would change it depending on the content of the curriculum. This time, the ministry has informed the schools not to change the textbooks, and parents will still ask to purchase textbooks. But the ebooks that are going to be loaded as well are for also parental support, which we were shown. But we'll leave it up to the Ministry of Education to sort out how they're going to distribute the ebooks and what will happen with the regular textbooks that were already purchased by the parents for the schools.
Doesn't sound very like it doesn't sound organized or like it's promising.
Well, we don't have the proper information. What we were told is that there's going to be the introduction of ebooks. We leave it up to the Ministry of Education. We did ask though if our educators will be allowed access to the ebooks, and the answer was yes, so that the educators as well would be able to use it and not have to, because there are some instances where the educators have to purchase their books because of the lack of presentation by the Ministry of Education. And some of our educators do buy supplementary books as well too, in order to enhance their teaching and learning. We're hoping that there will be a wide variety of ebooks available to our educators so that they can have the best possible means of teaching and learning in the classrooms.
Yeah, I saw an article this past week that back to school sales were really, really low. And I mean, that's a conversation for another time, but I was kind of thinking about whether or not that would be because of these ebooks. I don't know if parents are aware of.
I think parents are just honestly a little bit fed up because a lot of the times you buy books and you don't use them, or the children don't use them. And I remember there's been a steady decline, and what I've realized is when you try to say resell books or books that you haven't used, because this is not only my experience, but my experience with what I've heard before, book drives, those things, they aren't as popular as they once were. Before, parents would be, scampering to get, oh, this is in real good condition, this is only $100, whereas if I buy it in the store, it's like $400. And there's no, the excitement for that, it's declined over the years, I've come to find out.
And
so
because
that's why.
Because of that data, I think in terms of the curriculum, and I think not using some of the textbooks that parents would purchase is because of, I would assume, execution of the curriculum by teachers. So then my question to Mr. Lumpkin is, are teachers ready to execute the curriculum in the best way and avoid wasting textbooks that parents would have purchased for the school term?
The majority of our educators are prepared and utilize the textbooks. We do get the feedback that there are some who do not utilize all of the textbooks and have, and more concerns as well too is the weight of these bags, the books in the bags that our nation's children has to, they have to face on a daily basis. And we have made several recommendations to the Ministry of Education, and we have advised our members in terms of utilizing the timetable as fast as possible if the students can lock some of the books in the schools, which is really not the majority of schools have that facility. And try and implement a way such that the students don't have to be dragging all of these books every day and affecting the spinal column and other muscular areas as well too. So yeah, we do advise our membership. We do get feedback of unscrupulous members sometimes not utilizing textbooks. But I want to assure you, it's not the majority. It's a small number. And the principal and administration have to ensure that these, through their supervision, that whatever textbooks and other areas that they have within their arsenal in order to do a proper teaching and learning that takes place on a daily basis. But what we do have sometimes is the fact that quite a bit of our the positions for principals, vice principals, head of department, deans, and so on are unfilled. And you have to take the teaching staff sometimes to fill these administrative positions. So when you have a teacher having to juggle between administration and teaching, that sometimes it's not conducive to proper learning. And as the Bible says, you can't serve two masters, right? So one will gain above the other. And so sometimes, because of the nature of administration, sometimes teaching takes a backseat, and depending on the teacher, sometimes administration takes backseat. So we're hoping that within this at least academic year, it could be reduced and there can be proper conducive atmosphere for teaching and learning.
Yeah.
It seems like it would be a good idea for the ebooks. Ebooks would come in handy. Like that is what the student gets to go home with. But then the school gets to keep a certain amount of textbooks. If the student wants to do independent study within the school, they can. And that would, kind of take away the need to have, that such a heavy book bag to come to school. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Sort of a hybrid. And we have to remember this is a change in paradigm. And the way we learn, we are accustomed. I myself sometimes I prefer to see a hard copy in front of me instead of on a screen. So we change, and managing change would have to be done properly in terms of not only the students but also our educators as well. So that hybrid might be, as you recognize, might be necessary at this time, and then eventually. I know we have digital children now, and they adapt very quickly to it. But if we also want our parents to play a part in the learning, then maybe we need to have some of the textbooks. Because it sounds nice not to have to buy a textbook and you will have it on a screen, but the utilization of it and the how it's going to impact, we have to really look at it as well too. And then there's the issue of screen time as well. How long are we going to keep our students staring at a screen without the breaks in between and so on? So all of those discussions need to take place as well.
Yeah. And it has to be managed properly. But I want to go back to when you would have mentioned the Teaching Service Commission in terms of the process of placing teachers, or even just from hiring to placement. Can you kind of explain to us how that works, and at what point does tutor become involved?
In the first instance, Teaching Service Commission is an independent body, and they are not bound to meet with us as the Ministry of Education and the Chief Personnel Officer because of their insulation from influence. But they do meet with us on a timely basis in order for us to have that dialogue and collaboration. So we must point out that to the Service Commission that they do meet with us. If there are vacancies, the Teaching Service Commission depends on the Ministry of Education to give them the information so that when they get the information, they can give the all clear to have those vacancies advertised. When it's advertised, the applicants send their application to the Ministry of Education, and the Ministry of Education will sort the applications. And those who fulfill the requirements, they are sent to the Teaching Service Commission. The Teaching Service Commission then makes arrangements for interviews. In the past, for primary school teachers, it was devolved to the Ministry of Education. So because of the quantity and the fact that the Teaching Service Commission doesn't have the resources that they need, they would have devolved it to the Ministry of Education. We saw within the last year and a half, that the Teaching Service Commission took back that responsibility and they carried out the interviews. Once persons are successful, then an order of merit list is generated and sent to the Ministry of Education and recommendations for placement. So it's a back and forth in terms of information. We have met with Teaching Service Commission and they have been saying that the information sometimes doesn't reach them on a timely basis, if ever at all. Ministry of Education has been saying to us, they have been sending the information. So one is saying one thing, the other is saying the other. We have called for a meeting between the parties. The Personnel Department has indicated to us that we should have a meeting with the 4 entities: Tutor, Ministry of Education, Personnel Department, Teaching Service Commission, whereby we can address the situation and accusations can be answered in front of each other, because we are in between and the information we are getting contradicts what one is saying about the other. So it's best placed around the table, everybody, and let us deal with it. Over the last few months, the ministry has said that they have been sending recommendations to the TSC. We take that for granted, but we will see how it goes. And then there's another factor that plays in this whole idea of placement, promotion, transfers, is the denominational boards and the concordat. So that's another, another spoke in the wheel that we have to look at when we are dealing with this, because the boards are saying they have certain rights when it comes to the concordat. Tutor is not entirely in agreement with some of their submissions. And so, we have to figure out the way to get around those, because the boards do play a part in the education system and within a number of schools in Trinidad and Tobago.
It sounds like each part is important, but it also sounds like there's a couple too many peppers in the pot, if you catch what I'm saying.
Yeah, the thing is that we understand the needs for the Teaching Service Commission. That's an independent body insulated from any political influence. It's supposed to be like that, and we prefer it in that way, because we've heard of instances where politicians attempt to get their family, friends, supporters up the list of for those appointed, and that should not be. It should be based on their merit and how they would have performed at their interviews, etc. But if the arms work properly, and we have been advocating to the Ministry of Education and the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago by extension, that the use of technology, digitization, computerization, information systems can lend to getting rid of some of these stumbling blocks. Because if the Service Commission has access to the database of those who are in the system, and they can flag those who are about to retire, then they themselves can put things in place to have the acting persons act in a timely manner and to fill the vacancies in a timely manner. But their challenge as well too, and we've always sounded this in the public, that they are understaffed, under-resourced, and they are part-time commissioners. They only meet twice a month, whereby the amount of vacancies and the amount of issues they have to deal with, they need to be on a regular basis meeting.
Yeah, there's a need for that. Because even when you realize that you hear a lot of schools saying, we have vacancies, we need this position filled, we don't have a math teacher, we don't have this, that, and anything. And then you go to the I wouldn't say which body, but it's like, oh well, we didn't know that there was a vacancy, and there's a miscommunication there, as you rightfully pointed out. It just looks bad on the part of how the whole wheel is supposed to turn, and then it makes people feel as though they're not entitled to a job. When you talk to teachers, new teachers who just graduated or they want to get into the field, there's no anticipation or hope that I am actually going to get a job, and it's kind of demoralizing.
It is. Let me give you a very simple situation. when it comes to seniority lists at schools, seniority lists are usually based on position and years of experience.
Yeah, it's
right? The Ministry of Education is supposed to have that information, and so the seniority lists are approved by the Teaching Service Commission and then sent to the schools. We have had instances where the seniority list is erroneous. It does not reflect the true seniority, and they have to be back and forth. So the holders of this information, it seems, do not even know what they have. And I am hopeful that it is not deliberately done. I don't want to think that that is the case. But when you are the holders of the information and you cannot give us correct information, what do you expect lower down? And so we're hopeful. We work with the bodies to ensure that this doesn't happen, but sometimes it doesn't go as quickly as we would like it to go. And so that area where you're speaking about, where schools know they have vacancies for X amount of persons, whether primary or secondary, and then when you check at the ministry, no, we don't have that information. It is frustrating to say the least. And we as the union, we will be bombarded by our members. And then when we the representation at the ministry, and the ministry is somewhat not aware of the situation, and then they have to say, we'll get back to you and check on it, and sometimes. And one of the things in the Ministry of Education we have to point out, they are also understaffed. There are a number of vacancies that in the civil service that have not been filled. Some are doing dual, sometimes triple roles, etc., etc. We are hopeful by the announcement of the Honorable Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago that they are turning away from contract employment and that vacancies will be filled in the public service. We're hopeful, we look forward to it, but one of the things we do say, it will stand the test of time. We have to look and see what will happen. But that is one of the challenges we have at the Ministry of Education as well. And let me plug in as well, when we talk about contract teachers, we have a whole sector in the education system that are under contract right now. All the teachers, none have permanent appointments. That's the early childhood sector, ECCE. All of them are under contract. And we are hopeful that they get the permanency and tenure of students.
How do you even, as a ministry, as a government, how is that legal? It probably is legal, but okay.
The regulation speaks about contract within the public and teaching service, and the past administrations, even now, we've seen that within the TVET area, they're going to have contract for assistant instructors. We are hopeful that this is temporary while they get the house in order to fill the vacancies. But there are a few challenges with ECCE as well. The legislation speaks about schooling age from 5, which does not cover ECCE, which goes from 2.5 up to 7 years. So there's been a talk about changing the legislation. The last administration said that they had sent information to the Attorney General. We have made representation to find out, because since we came into office in 2022, before that, there was talk of changing that legislation. And so coupled with the announcement by the Honorable Prime Minister, we are hopeful that this sector will be regularized and our teachers in this sector would be given the opportunity for permanent employment, and other sectors as well too. There are some other areas, guidance, that are under contract right now. We're hoping that they're going to regularize that system. So we're hopeful in the education system, but we look at see what will take place.
Just to shift the conversation slightly, we know about the plan to place the Special Reserve Police in about 80 high-risk schools. Yeah. So off the bat, what is Tutor's position on this move?
Digicel supports any initiative which would drive down violence and indiscipline in our nation's schools. We have taken that stance, and we continue to take that stance, that we will work with the Ministry of Education to ensure that schools are safe, that the environment is conducive to learning. At the first instance, it seems to be a very good initiative. We have said, though, that this cannot be a permanent or long-term solution to violence and indiscipline. If the presence of the law enforcement officers are there to deter as a matter of their presence and their interactions with the occupants of the schools, and that in itself needs to be clarified as well too. What are their engagement in the schools? Who are they going to report to? Because they are employed and their superiors are from an external body from the school. So there are still some questions which we have reached out to the ministry. We want to see the policy of what this initiative will entail. As we say, in the first instance, it looks good, but there are some underlying issues we need to get answers to. And there are other factors. The school safety officers as well as the security officers. They play a part as well too. How are they now going to be utilized in the school as well? And we're hopeful that the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Homeland Security will also have dialogue with the Estate Police Association, who represents the security officers at the schools, so that they will have it will work properly as it is intended to, and that whatever kinks can be worked out in the shortest possible time.
Yeah, so seeing as you said that this must be a short-term measure, what are some of the long-term solutions that you'd like to see to address the indiscipline and violence in schools?
One of the things the Ministry of Education has embarked on is the review of the school code of conduct and the discipline matrix. So that's a good area to start in terms of within the schools. But we also, dealing with violence and indiscipline is not an issue that is only in the schools. This is a societal issue that we are facing. As you all know, we face that on a daily basis in terms of a number of areas, gangs, or other areas as well too. So it has to be a multi-pronged approach, and it's not only for the government and governmental institutions. Everyone plays a part. We have the NGOs, we have faith-based organizations, we have community-based organizations. We have to start within the homes as well too. There are some homes who require the intervention, and we have social workers that go from both the Ministry of Education and the TTPS. They have to also play their part. We have psychologists, we have within the schools as well, the Student Support Services Division. And again, we are saying they are understaffed and under-resourced, and they need to be. You have special ed, you have social workers, and you have guidance who are responsible for clusters of schools. Clusters meaning 4 or 5 schools. Within one school, you may have instances of 5, 6 students requiring intervention. And if that you multiply by the 4, you see how much one officer is responsible for. Ideally, you should have 1 per school. In terms of Student Support Services Division, we understand the economic challenges, but the Ministry of Education must understand as well too, and I think they do, that these support staff really helps the school in dealing with some of the instances, and they need to be beefed up as well too. So you have various instances of intervention as well. Ministry has spoken about restorative practice as well. We are still to get the entire picture of it, but we understand the concept of it. There should be peer mediation. There should be other methods of intervention. While we look at the safety there, we have to change the minds of the occupants of the school, both the educators and students, and even parents as well, because parents play a great role in this as well.
Yeah. So you would have also raised concerns about infrastructure security and you referenced the break-in at Malik Secondary. Do you know if part of some of the infrastructure upgrades would have been the security, putting things in place to prevent something like this from happening again?
I cannot say at this time. I'll be giving you false information. I do have to reach out to the Malik representative to get a sense. But I can say I did have the conversation with the Honorable Minister of Education during the vacation, and he did assure that those areas would be looked at. And it's not only in terms of the infrastructure of the perimeter fencing, but the upkeep of the compound and the assignment of officers as well. Malik is a unique situation where the compound is split by a river kind of a way. So there's a walkway, a kind of a bridge between one area and the next. And we know the environment that Malik is in already. We would have had some reports of, hearing gunshots and so. So the security level as well needs to be improved in Malik to have it safe while the interventions take place. But at this time, no, I cannot say if the perimeter fence was addressed during the vacation.
Okay. In terms of the police officers and security at these schools, do you think, well, in your opinion, do you think that officers should be trained especially for dealing with schools and students? Because I would like to think how they would treat an adult criminal would be the same as they would treat a student, a child. Do you think that special training should go into dealing with these schools?
Yes, we do believe that. Our feedback is that the officers were trained. I cannot confirm that, but you have a number of factors. You're dealing with minors, you're dealing with adults too on the compound because you have other members of staff apart from the educators. And we have a number of legal issues, application of the judge's rules when it comes to minors have to be taken into account. We were told that students, minors, cannot be handcuffed. There's a procedure for detaining and questioning as well too. And again, we also look at the reporting structure and the duties that they will perform. We haven't gotten it clear at this time, and we look forward to that. But yes, the simple answer to your question is these persons and personnel have to be trained properly in within the school environment because of various factors that they have to take into account.
Yeah. So, go ahead, Jada.
Okay, so I wanted to ask if we could just take a quick break. But before we go on to the break, a lot of these issues that we're speaking about here, infrastructure, security, all of these different things, parents also play a huge role in it as well. So for the parents out there that are listening, that are frustrated or they're concerned to hear how, or they want to know how they can help, how is it that they can play a role in holding the system accountable? As we just realized, there's a plenty cogs in the wheel. So how do parents play a role?
Well, we have the Parent Teachers Association. In some schools, they don't go by PTA. I can't recall what they do. But within the PTA system as well too. The idea of PTAs are there for raising funds have to be changed, because on a number of instances in the past, people felt PTAs were just there to raise funds to help the school. They do play that financial role, but there are also areas that the PTAs can assist as well too. Now, we have to be a bit cautious in bringing in parents into a school. There must be some level of background check, because if they are to interact within the school system, now you can limit them in terms of where they interact and who they interact. But as an administrator, we have to be abundantly cautious in who we bring into our compound, because you do not want an instance where something untoward take place between that person and a student. So you have to be extremely cautious. But there are ways in which parents can assist in terms of even when they come to drop off and pick up their child, the orderly manner in which you do it. Some people don't go in an orderly fashion. And you need to, there are simple ways, teaching their children, certain behaviors and manners and so we can start off with those areas as well. And then within the schools that are starved for resources, the parents can contribute in assisting with supervision. Yes, it sounds good, but you have to be cautious as well too. There must be school personnel working with the parents when it comes to those areas.
All right. Well, Mr. Lumpkin, we actually want to hear a little bit more about your particular journey, your hopes for the new school term. So we have some rapid fire questions prepared, but we want to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll tackle those. Okay?
No problem.
All right.
Here is your WESN News on the Hour. I'm Naomi McNish. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. Prime Minister backs U.S. strike against Venezuelan cartel. Schools ready for reopening on September 8th. Rudranath Indasing appointed to the Industrial Court. And regionally, Guyana elections observed as free and fair. Now for the details. Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar has supported a U.S. military strike that reportedly killed 11 members of the Venezuela-based Tren de Aragua cartel. The operation targeted drug trafficking in the southern Caribbean. Persad-Bissessar welcomed the move as a way to reduce crime and illegal drug flows affecting the region. Venezuela has said it is ready to respond if attacked. The Education Ministry says all schools will reopen on schedule after the July-August vacation repair program addressed 246 schools, with 25 others in final stages. Incoming form-1 students will also receive laptops to support classroom and remote learning. Education Minister Michael Dowlath highlighted that this effort aims to bridge the digital divide and improve learning outcomes. In Tobago, 26 of 57 schools were prioritized for repairs with a $20 million budget. Tutor Officer Brandon Roberts raised concerns that at least 12 schools received no upgrades. The THA Secretary of Education, Zorisha Hackett, dismissed the claims as misinformation, saying all targeted schools will reopen on September 8th, and a formal report on the projects will be issued later this week. Former Couva South MP Rudranath Indasing has been named a member of the Industrial Court. He says the role continues his long involvement in labor relations, and he aims to uphold fair play and justice. Two other appointments include former Industrial Court Judge Dr. Selwyn Samaru and ex-magistrate Brambanan Dubé. PSA President Felicia Thomas congratulated Indasing on his new role. Regionally, CARICOM's Election Observation Mission has declared Guyana's September 1st general and regional elections free and fair. Chief Observer Josephine Tamai said voters were able to cast their ballots peacefully and that the process was well managed, with 324 polling stations monitored. Minor inconsistencies in station layouts and delays in information sharing were noted, but GECOM's new electronic tabulation measures were praised. National results are expected on September 4th. Well, that's news to the hour on WESN. I'm Naomi McNish. Thanks for watching. welcome back to the program this morning. So, Jaden and I have some rapid fire questions for Mr. Lumpkin, just to get a sense of, his thoughts on the start of the school term. So I'll go first. If you had to identify the top 3 priorities that would make this academic year successful, or the school term successful, a successful one for teachers and students, what would they be?
Proper implementation of the curriculum, and we have to look at what we're really trying to achieve with education. So implementation of the curriculum, resources to assist the implementation of the curriculum, and a safe and secure environment.
So my next question will be, what inspires you the most about the resilience of educators in Trinidad and Tobago?
Could you repeat the first part? I didn't get it.
What inspires you the most about educators in Trinidad and Tobago?
What surprises?
Inspires.
Inspires. Wow. That has to start from generations before this present generation. And goes back to when I was a student as well too, to see the dedication of the majority of our educators, because they go basically beyond the call of duty. Some of them give so much of themselves that you wonder where they get it from. And those educators who give of themselves, and sometimes it's scarce resources, sometimes because of the love of the students and the children before them, which extends to the love of nation, that really inspires on a daily basis. And especially for myself, for being the head of the association, seeing the hard work and dedication and sacrifice that our educators give on a daily basis, that inspires us more and more, and inspires me more and more, to make sure that they are well represented and that their conditions are much better.
That's good. If you had to give 5 watchwords to a new teaching professional, someone where this is their first term entering into the profession, what's the 5 watchwords you would give them?
5 watchwords. Dedication. It's not a job, but really it is a vocation. So dedication, honesty, and why I'm saying honesty and integrity is that you don't cheat the students of what they deserve. So dedication, integrity, resilience being one, love, general love, and inspirational as well. I wanted to include as well God-fearing, because you have to have that God-fearing aspect, that spirituality as well. So a sticky stone, but that should be at the top.
If you could, based on what you know and what you're aware of, the biggest win from the July-August repair program?
Is the fact that the Ministry of Education, and I must stick in the Honorable Minister because I know he has been tirelessly attempting the July vacation repair program off the ground and completed. The biggest win is that the majority of schools are ready. We have seen and we have heard about repairs to schools like last year. And I'm sorry to compare past, but last year it was by far one of the worst experience we had during the August vacation period. Understandably, the economic situation, but we're thankful that the Ministry of Education and the Honorable Minister was able to get funding to do the majority. I have to single out one school, please permit me. Arangwes North Secondary. We understand that Block E has been repaired to the point where electricity now flows in that building. It's a number of years. It predated my term in office, where that thieves stole the cable to that block. And that block, yes, they stole the cable. They cut the cable at one point. There's a kiosk outside of the building. They went in there, they cut, and they various times they pulled the cable out. That block housed a number of the laboratories and TVET area, and they were not able to offer those subject areas practically. They have electricity now, and we understand that there's sanitization going to be taking place very soon. So within the term, they're going to get their blockade. And we must thank the Ministry of Education for that, because in the past we've been making that play. We had demonstration and so on, and now we are seeing some light in around West North Secondary. So the overall picture looks good with the vacation repair program. They would not get everything down packed, but at least there were repairs. I have seen some schools where I've passed and seeing infrastructural work going apace, trying to get it completed for Monday. So that's our take in terms of the vacation repair program.
Okay. So this one you might have to think a little bit on, but if resources weren't an issue and bureaucracy did not exist, what is the ideal school system? Say you were president of the earth, what would be the ideal school system for you?
So proper resourcing in terms of professional development of the teachers as well, that they are fully resourced in terms of their pedagogy and their ability to deliver. If I had to say, these standardized tests, these high-stakes examinations would be a thing of the past. There would be a proper moving from primary to secondary without having to have these. All schools will be resourced equally, and we look at equity within the education system, that there will be equity within the education system, so that we don't have the idea of only a few schools are prestige schools. All schools should be prestige schools. All students should be willing to attend to the school. Parents should be willing to send their child to a school that is close to their geographical residence and not have to send them kilometers away. And that can only be done if all teachers are, no, that's utopic, because we know that not all of our educators, and tutor will be the first to admit that not all of our educators are dedicated, as they sometimes just see it as a paycheck. But apart from that, the majority who are hardworking, that are given the support as well to mental health support as well. We have employee assistance programs, but it should be far-reaching, and the educators shouldn't be ashamed to access these when they need it as well. There should be also areas within the school that promote healthy lifestyle as well. Physical education is one that should be focused on as well. And all subject areas should be taught in relevance to the child's being. Sometimes it is too modular, and it's too, I'll put it, we look at it too within the books, but it's not applicable as well too. And the TVET area, performing arts, would be one that is encouraged as much as the traditional subject areas of maths and etc. Yeah, I think that's, I probably think of more, but I know time wouldn't put it.
Well, that's fine. In terms of the goals of tutor for this new school term, what can teachers who are part of the union look forward to experiencing? What are the goals of tutor?
Okay, so I know in the minds of a number of our educators is the recently signed negotiations. So one of the first things we'll be looking at, and we have actually, let me say, we have been liaising with the Chief Personnel Officer in terms of the implementation of the new salaries and the impending arrears out of it. Now, You have to remember it's about 14,000 teachers. In order to get that implemented, it would take some resources. Last time the ministry had to take, the Prime Minister had to ask the head of the public service to direct some of the clerks into the education ministry to do it. But the thing is that what we would want is that our members would be upgraded if they need to be. Their incremental points be put on the correct position before the new salary is implemented. So you are getting the correct salary going forward. So that's one of the first. But in terms of, and I have to say, professional development, Tutor offers professional development courses to schools. Those schools that didn't know, we are letting you know. You contact the first vice president and arrange for professional development workshops. Actually, my first VP is at, I can't remember the school, but today and tomorrow, professional development workshops, which deal with a number of areas: classroom management, the professional teacher, etc. Infrastructure, we will continue to monitor and make representation in terms of upgrades, increments, promotion. There are a number of ECCE. Again, we're going to continue to advocate for them. Members of the third schedule branch, those are supervisors, curriculum officers. We want to get them into the teaching service pay grade, because right now they're being paid at the civil service grade, structure. They are on the teaching service, so we have to bring them, and they have some issues as well too that we're dealing with. So to get you, Tobago, we're not forgetting Tobago at all, because some of the issues, their contract, there are a number of teachers on contracts for a number of years, and we have been making representation to bring those positions into the establishment, and payment of gratuity. Some of them have not been paid their gratuity after the end of their contract period. In terms of violence and discipline as well, we will be monitoring and working with the Ministry of Education and any other areas, institutions that require assistance with us. And that's on the top of my head right now.
All right. My last question to you would be, if you had to give a rating for the readiness of schools. I know we spoke about it before, but a rating, what's up, like a percentage out of 100, what would your rating be?
So far, from what I've heard, at 8.
An 8? So like an 80%?
Yeah, about 80%, yeah. I mean, it could be more. We've gotten, as I said, we're monitoring a couple of schools. Less than 10 that I've gotten so far. So I could have probably go to 90%, but 80, I think it's safe at this time.
That's good. All right. I know Naomi had a last question to ask you there, and then we can start to wrap.
No, just we thought, just leave a message to teachers and students, as they enter the new term and the start of school on Monday.
So teachers reporting for duty, some of them probably on the road. I'm looking at the time. I wish you all the best. Welcome back. Do what you do. Continue to be that model and that light for a number of our students. I know conditions are not ideal. Our salaries are not ideal, but the fact that you would affect lives, not only presently, but in the future, and that you are contributing greatly towards national development and national service, that you recognize your worth. Do not let anyone or anything bring you down or have you such that you believe that you're not making a difference. And if you require assistance, please do not hesitate, whether it is in terms of mental health, in terms of physical health, psychological, in terms of even what takes place at your school. You're supposed to have staff reps, reach out to them as well. But continue to do the excellent work. For those who are not pulling their weight, I want to use that term, I hope you realize the profession and the vocation that you are in, and our mistakes can affect, just as it will positively, it can affect a student negatively, and which can lead to that student going awry and even affecting our presence and our families as well. So our students, take advantage of the opportunity that you have in schools. Use your education. Education is a vehicle to take you into unthinkable bounds if you really put your effort into it. And if you need assistance as well, reach out to your teachers. Most of your teachers are empathetic and sympathetic. Reach out to them. Don't be afraid. And, continue to do the correct things. Stay within the law, follow the rules and regulations. Nothing is wrong with asking questions. Some people might see it as being deviant, but in asking questions, you are assured that you can get clarity. And if you feel that you're threatened, reach out to someone that you trust.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Lumpkin, for that and for joining us on the program this morning to discuss. I think the conversation was very productive and it went well.
Yeah, it seemed long, but it didn't feel long, if that makes sense.
No, I think we touched on everything that we wanted to. So that's really good.
Thank you very much for having me.
As always.
Look forward to future interviews, and all the best to both of you in the future, and to your media house as well.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Well.
All right, so that brings us to the end of yet another show. I just want to make special mention to the CPL game last night. Unfortunately, Trinbago Knight Riders lost their match against the St. Lucia Kings by a landslide. The match, it was, I think, the entire stadium. We saw it coming from the start. We lost the coin toss. We had to bat first, and things just went downhill from the first. I think, if I remember correctly, hold on. Colin Monroe, he was batting first, and he was out within the first 5 seconds of the game starting. So from that, everything just went downhill. So that was their last home match, so I'm not sure where they're going from here, but I do wish TKR all the best in their upcoming games. And,
all that's in TKR. You're still strong. We're still strong.
Yes, for sure. All right, so that brings us to the end of another show. Jada, this is you.
Yes. So, yes, of course, you can always engage with us on WESN TV, WESN CC, or you can WhatsApp us at 682-9376, 682-9376. If you want to reach either myself or Naomi over Instagram or social media, you can reach Naomi at Naomi McNish on Instagram, or I am Jada McLeod on Instagram as well. And for the quote, I think we both may have one, but I wanted to say when I came across as Mr. Lumpkin was speaking, but it says every classroom is a seed of possibility. We just need to water it. Mm-hmm. I really like that one because it doesn't make special mention of teachers or students, but just in general, when you have a good classroom, you have a good community, and the classroom inspires the students. So every classroom is a seed of possibility. We just need to do our best to water it. So everybody is involved when it comes to that.
Beautiful. Well said. And I think it's perfect for this morning show. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So that's all for today. Thank you for joining Jada and I on the program this morning. Stay safe, guys. Stay informed. Stay inspired. Stay tuned for Sean Michael Small at 8 o'clock with Talking Point. And we'll see you back here again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.
WESN.
Remember waking up early just to catch your favorite cartoons? WESN brings back those magical mornings with Retro Saturdays.
Thus, the Powerpuff Girls were born!
Where the young at heart relive the fun. Join us every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 noon, only on WESN.